For members of the River Falls Fire Department, the call to jump into action can come at any moment. It could be on the first day of a new job, or as the three firefighters on this podcast experienced, it could be just hours before they're scheduled to sit down for an episode of the Kinni Cast. Josh Woll, Matt Cernohous, and Andy Rineck are the guests on the latest Kinni Cast episode, where they each share what inspired them to join the fire department, what it's like when their pager goes off for a fire call, and what they're each looking forward to most with a brand new fire station. All of that and more on a new episode of the Kinni Cast. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Kinni Cast. My name is Tyler Mason. I'm the communications coordinator for the City of River Falls, and I'm excited to be joined today by three of the volunteer firefighters from the River Falls Fire Department. We've got Matt Cernohous, Andy Rineck, and Josh Woll on the podcast today. Guys, how are you doing today? I know it's been a busy day for you, but how's everybody holding up?
Real good. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. We'll jump into it here. It's the first time we've had three guests on at a time, so I think we'll make it work, but we'll pass the microphone around and it should be good. So let's start with Matt, since he's got the microphone. Just maybe share how long you've been with the department and then what you do for your day job, because as most people probably know, this is a volunteer thing and everyone has lives outside of the fire department. So Matt, let's start with you and introduce yourself.
All right. Matt Cernohous. I'm currently Division Chief of Operations here at River Falls Fire. I've been on for 26 years, started 2000, same year that I started at Anderson Windows.
Okay.
This is where I currently work. So that out of my normal job, I work for Anderson Windows in our initial quality department. I currently work from home, been working from home since the pandemic.
Okay.
So I deal day-to-day operations, taking care of our customers. We had fall downs within our product. But yeah, I've been with the fire department for 26 years.
Andy, how about you?
My name is Andy Rineck. I'm a captain on the River Falls Fire Department. I've been on the fire department for about 10 years. Pretty close to that. Not sure when I started. 2017,
You're looking at Matt
I
for
think,
confirmation.
2016,
Yeah.
28 to 2016, something along those lines. And then I have a regular 9-to-5 job as a financial advisor, where I work with companies and individuals kind of structuring retirement plans and navigating investments and all that good stuff. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And then last but not least, Josh, the newest of the three.
Yep. So I'm Josh Woll. I've been on for a year and a half. So I'm a probationary firefighter, just finishing out our probationary period. And for work, today was my first day with the River Falls Housing Authority. So I got about 4 hours in before we had a couple of fires. So I really haven't done much work, but I am a maintenance technician, hopefully.
Okay. If they keep you after the first day.
Yeah, right.
If you had to leave, after you had to leave for the call, yeah. Well, we'll get into some of that about what it's like to juggle full-time job with being a firefighter. But let's maybe just kind of start out with, Andy, if you want to start, I guess, what inspired you to become a firefighter?
I think I dressed up as two things when I was a kid, a Green Bay Packer and a firefighter.
Okay. So you had two. You were good.
5'6" and 180 pounds, pretty doughy. I think that the second one was probably the most realistic way. But I think just, really seeing them out in the community and thinking about how that might be a good way to serve the community, give back, and spraying water on fires and jumping through burning windows and stuff
Sure.
kind of seemed exciting and like a little bit of fun. So I kind of was inspired by that, I guess.
Sure. And then Matt, how about you? I know you've got family ties to the department.
Yeah, I do have some family ties. We had a really good family friend when I was growing up. Rich Cashman, he was on the fire department, and he actually owned the mortuary here in town also. So growing up with him, being on the department, I got to go up, play with this pager a little bit, got that with my uncle, Bill, that's currently still on the department, and my cousin Chris was on at that time. When I was, Chris and I are about 5 years apart, so he started, about that, so that inspired me to get on too. Also, my dad, I was born and raised here in town. So my dad actually cut hair across the street from the fire department, which is now
River City Stitch?
River City Stitch.
Okay.
Yeah, that used to be barbershop.
Oh, okay.
So I would be at the barbershop waiting for my dad to get done work, and the guys would come in, and I'd watch fire trucks come out too. So that kind of got to me too when I was younger.
And then Josh, how about you? What was your inspiration for joining the department?
Yeah, so I moved out here in 2018 for school at the UWRF, and so after college, I started a business and worked with a lot of the community or the businesses in town. So I kind of started getting embedded within the community, kind of meeting a lot of people and different faces. And a buddy of mine is a firefighter in Oak Grove, Minnesota, and so I was down at his place, and he was kind of telling me about what he does and kind of how much he loves it. And then that same weekend, I came back here and I saw the banner in town.
Yeah.
Said, River Falls Firefighter or Fire Department hiring, and so I put my application in, and
There you go.
here we are.
So the advertising worked.
Advertising, it's like looking for being part of the community and looking for a sense of purpose. It's huge for me. So being able to commit myself to something like that was definitely a big driver.
Very cool. And Matt, we'll direct this next one to you. As I mentioned off the top, most people probably know that the firefighters here are volunteers on a paid per call basis. Can you maybe share a bit about what that means and then how common that system is compared to maybe other nearby fire departments or other communities in our area?
Yeah, we're pretty lucky here in River Falls to have all volunteers except for, of course, Chief Wilson, who is full-time. In our community here, it's pretty, I want to say, the norm. You look at Hudson, Roberts, Ellsworth, Prescott, they're all same. With Hudson's a little more different. They have their population a little more. They have a few more full-time staff than what we do. But yeah, we all have regular 9-to-5 jobs, or we're lucky enough that we still have some people on that are in their retirement years. So when it comes to daytime calls, it makes it a little more difficult.
Right.
For us that we, the three of us in here we're on calls today. We're lucky enough that we can either work from home or that our employers let us leave during the day for calls. But people say it's volunteer. We do get a stipend. I'm not going to go into details on it, but there is a little bit of stipend, and we're lucky enough here with the city that they acknowledge that and they give us a little bit. And then there's a couple of perks, with being a volunteer too here in the city. You look at to a full-time department, if you just want to go on the cost of it, for a city, that's quite a substantial cost it would be for the taxpayers if we had a full-time department.
Right.
Where we can keep that cost low, and we have really good equipment. We have great training. I currently think that our training here in River Falls, we train every Monday night. So we're here from 6:30 to 9:30 every Monday for training. I believe our training is probably one of the top training departments in the state, for sure. You look at other communities around, smaller communities, they don't quite put in on training that we do.
Well, I was going to ask about the training, and Andy, if you want to kind of expand on that a little bit too, what the training is like. I had the chance to be out. You guys were practicing on an old house that was getting torn down, and you got to practice on that. But I think every week is maybe something a little different. Just take us through the training and what those Monday nights are like for the department.
Yeah, we try to cover our bases. We have a lot of, since we are an all hazards response fire department, we have a lot of different situations that we have found ourselves in or potentially will find ourselves in. So we do have to train, even though we call ourselves a fire department, we do spend a good amount of time pulling hose, practicing for structure fires, which is probably what you witnessed at those acquired structures we had. But we also have to train on hazardous materials. There are state and federal requirements for that. We do have to do some training for basic life-saving, basic life support interventions. Sure. And we have to practice for car accidents and various rescue situations. We do a lot of training on the river. So kind of a broader spectrum than what most people think about, like houses on fire, fire gets put out.
Right.
We have a lot of different situations that we get called to, and some I think that surprise us every year we spend on the department. Yeah, sure. And then, initially, I know Josh has kind of just gone through this recently or is in the middle of it right now. Pretty extensive. I think we have an initial 40-hour class in order to be able to operate as a firefighter in the state of Wisconsin. And then we send all of our firefighters to a secondary class, which allows them to operate sort of more independently.
Sure.
On fires as well. So both of those combined, I think, are 84 hours.
Fire 1 is actually over 100 hours.
Oh, okay. So
closer to 120.
120 hours and then 40 hours, like 160 total. Yeah. So initially quite a significant commitment.
It is.
For training. And then That's really kind of basic competency stuff. And then we do a lot of on-the-job training. We have kind of a documented process where we bring those folks through. They kind of know the basics, and then things that are unique to our community, things that we operate a little bit differently than some of our neighbors. So.
And Josh, I know what you were talking about. You just started a brand new job today, and then you got a call. But I'm kind of curious, what is it like when you guys do get a call that you have to respond to? I'm guessing your employers kind of know the drill, that you might have to leave at a moment's notice. But what is it like when that pager goes off?
Yeah, I mean, the pager doesn't, it can go off whenever, whatever you're doing. There's been times I'm at the grocery store and checking out and page goes off. So, I mean, as soon as I hear that tone drop, I'm getting in my car, getting my things, and I'm getting ready to go. And the response actually starts not when you're in the fire truck, but it starts when you're, in your own vehicle. It's about 5 minutes from my house to the fire hall. So that 5 minutes, I listen to the page, right? I listen to whatever call we're getting so I can start putting myself into that mindset of whether we're going to a, something like a gas leak or a full-blown structure fire, so I can kind of start the process of myself, mentally preparing for what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's all I got.
I mean, it could go off middle of the night, or like you said, at work. Yeah, really, you got to be ready.
Like,
when you're in the shower,
3 o'clock in the morning, you get a call, and I don't even really think about it until I'm in my car. I'm just kind of autonomously moving, and I'm driving, and then kind of start doing a little more thinking about what we're going to be doing.
Right. Yeah. Well, for anyone who wants to answer this one, I'm curious what the most rewarding part of being a River Falls firefighter is, because I imagine it's a lot of hard work, but it's also pretty rewarding too for anyone who wants to share about that.
Well, I say, like, being so involved with the community, right? The calls that we go on a lot of the times are people dealing with people on their worst day, right? So for me, it's being able to act as a person of support and strength for somebody when they're needing help, right? And so being able to actually see people who I've helped in different situations, whatever they may be, it's very rewarding to actually be able to support the members of our community. So that's what I got.
Yeah, I think being able to see the outcome of some of your situations that you've been in, like there's houses that I've driven by, like, oh, that house is still there because probably, actions that we took to stop a fire, or houses that, may have gotten torn down that only had to get gutted, or, that room and contents fires that didn't extend to the entire house. Or even some situations where the neighbor's house is still there because we were able to put out the, or at least contain the fire to that particular structure. So I think that's probably the most rewarding thing. And then, just being able to help people on their worst day. I mean, I think there's a couple of situations where our interventions have helped preserve life for people, which is probably one of the biggest things, is like, oh, it's tough sometimes, and there's things that, create friction in other areas of your life, or even, struggles that we all have internally here. But yeah, kind of looking back and being like, oh, there's probably someone that's still alive and out walking because of things that we did. Like that's a pretty big thing to carry with you.
I bet, yeah.
Oh, it's hard to follow up on that. I think piggyback off of Josh is the giving back to the community. Like myself, I was born and raised here in River Falls, so I just hit the big half-century mark this year. So been here for 50 years. I've seen a lot here in town. But yeah, just giving back to the community, seeing how we affect the community with just little things that we do. I think one of our biggest things that we contribute to the community is our public education that we do when we go to schools, and during Fire Education Week, or October, where we go into school, and Pauline Williams does her presentation to all the kids, and we got guys on the department that they were the first. They remember, like Troy Mulmer tells me he was one of the first guys to ever ride the snorkel in kindergarten. I rode the fire trucks when I was in kindergarten when they did that. So, that part of it is pretty cool that we've had an opportunity to give back to the community that way. I think that's the reason we don't have a lot of structure fires anymore is our public education program.
Sure, yeah.
Prevention is more, we'd rather prevent it than, for as much as it is quote unquote fun for us to go and put the fire out, we'd rather not.
Right. So
that's big for us. Being in those situations where Andy was talking about, you're with people during their, they're having a bad day. And for just an example, we had a call a few years back. A young gal was in a car accident, and she ended up losing both of her legs. due to the accident, but weeks later she came and visited us at the fire hall. Just to say thank you for what we did, and to help her through that situation. Like you said, it was her worst day. We made it somewhat bearable for her. So
Yeah, absolutely.
stuff like that, I think, is what makes it the most rewarding for me.
Yeah, I bet. Well, so I wanted to ask about the fire station because most people listening have probably driven by it and seen the construction going up, and I've heard about all the great things that are going to be going on with this new fire station. I'm curious for you guys, what will this new fire station mean for the department?
Well, for me, it's been a long time coming, being on, we've talked about this since I've been on, 26 years ago about how we needed a new one, and we just outgrew our space. And the community did a great job of coming together and getting with the city and helping us make our dream, I guess, or our plans come to fruition. It's going to be more open space for us, more room for our gear. We're removing our turnout gear right now, which hangs, right alongside the trucks. We always like to throw this stat out. The biggest killer of firefighters lately, the number one killer is cancer. So with our gear being out, in the elements with the trucks, diesel, exhaust, and all that, so we're gonna have our clean room. We're gonna have stuff where it's away from all that. We're gonna have a quote unquote type of locker room where we can shower after we have a structure fire to get those carcinogens off us before we go back and into our trucks and cars or whatever and back home and get that with our family. A bigger training facility, classroom type stuff, or be able to be more comfortable. I think, it's going to have some more offices, so we'll be able to do some more on-site work at the fire hall for those that need it, like filling out it when we do our run reports, or, if we just want to have little off meetings, we'll have some more room for that where we can meet just in a small group setting. The strength and fitness facility on the third floor, that's going to be huge for us. Currently we have one in the basement of the old PD, and we're trying to get more people involved in the fitness side of it too, so that's going to help. That's what I think. Andy?
Oh, that was good. You hit all the ones. The shower was the big one I was going to talk about. Cancer reduction, one of the big things, we try to shower within the hour when we come from a structure fire. So being able to do that in the new station will be great. Same thing, strength and conditioning. We got a lot of guys that we're trying to get engaged with physical fitness. It's obviously a very physical job. We ask a lot of people, so being able to give them an opportunity to increase their physical fitness is a really big deal. I think I would make the joke that we can't quite do overhead presses right now because the plates hit the ceiling. So we're excited for that.
That's the reason, right?
Yeah, we're excited for that. And then, I think one of the big things too is maybe that people don't realize is fire trucks have gotten bigger over the years. If anybody out in the community sees the Model A driving around, probably about 2 feet narrower than engine 15 or engine 20 or the latter. So just having a modern size bay to pull our ladder in, our engines in. Most people are good most of the time, but when you do scuff the mirror on the door, people tend to remember that, and that starts to, you are like, boy, I can't wait till we get that new station. So I scuffed a mirror the other day. So
It's pretty tight in that. Yeah, I've seen it. Josh, how about you?
Yeah, I would say just having a space that reflects the professionalism and the dedication of our members. The brothers and sisters that we have on. I would say that they don't need the station to make us as effective as we are. Right? It's the training that we do, but having a space that will allow us to improve on our training and improve on our response, I think that's it's only for the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been fun to watch the progress of that. I've been over there with the drone, getting some updated footage of that, and now that the walls are up, and it's exciting to kind of see it taking shape here. Well, for any of you, what would you say to anyone listening who might be considering joining the department? I know, Josh, you said the advertisement, the banner worked for you, but I'm just kind of curious what, if there's someone listening that's maybe thought of it before, or maybe they haven't thought of it until now, what would your pitch be, I guess?
Yeah, I would say that when I look around the fire department, we're all just regular people, right? So there's not much that we can do that someone who might want to do it, they can do it too. the training that we do, that sharpens us into what we are as an organization. But I think that many people are capable of that.
Yeah.
So if you have that calling, I'd say that if that's something you're wanting to do it.
Hey, do you want to add to that, it looks like?
Did it look like that?
You grab the mic, you grab the microphone. So if not, we can keep going.
No, I think I mean I would also say that we're pretty open. We have community members come watch training. We have community members that will come down and participate in other ways that aren't just like, hey, I want to go throw the ladder and spray the water and cut the roof open. Like it takes a whole village of people of all different skill sets to make it work here. So we have people that are really good at education. We have people that are really good at reporting systems and databases that I didn't think of when I started the fire department.
Sure.
So for those that are out in the community that may be witnessing this and want to get involved, there's a lot of different ways to get involved, even if that's not becoming a firefighter.
Sure.
But for those folks that are, we have open houses. We have a couple trainings that we open up to broader community events. So yeah, just get in touch with us. Any of us are happy to talk to people that may be thinking about it.
Yeah. Just top it off, we are in the planning stages to bring on a few more people. I think we're going to try to bring on another half a dozen or so. So I think River Falls Days was going to be the start of our advertising. So,
Okay.
So yeah, if there's anyone out there that's interested, please feel free to reach out to Chief Wilson, and we can get you the information and get you set up.
Yeah, I think his email, jwilson@rfcity.org if you're interested, or you can
just call the non-emergency line, 715-426-0908, I believe is our non-emergent line.
Okay. Well, just a couple here left for you guys, and then I know you're off to Monday night training after this, but for anyone who wants to jump in on this one, if there's one thing you want people listening to take away from this about the volunteer firefighters, what would it be?
I would just say that we all love what we do, and we try to be the best that we can be at it. That's about all I got.
Yeah, sums it up, I think. Yeah. Well, the last question here, and I'll have all three of you answer because it's the one that everyone on the podcast gets asked, is what impact do you hope your work will have on the people of River Falls? Andy, we'll start with you, and then maybe Josh, and we'll end with Matt.
Yeah, I think Matt touched on it earlier, but I think prevention is probably a big one for us, right? We do a lot of work educating about making sure people's smoke detectors are in their homes in the correct places and functioning correctly. And then we talk a little bit about like exit drills, making sure people shut their doors when they sleep. That's been one of the biggest successes in keeping people safe during structure fires, is if they can sleep with their door shut. Blocks a lot of fire from progressing through homes. So, I mean, really is like the takeaway. I think if people are trying to be safer, that's probably the best thing. Wear their seatbelts when they're in their cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they can take away that, then I think we'll make a positive impact.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say the biggest takeaway, from the work that I do is just building a sense of trust within the community that when they need us, that when we come, we can help and take care of whatever issues they have, So it's kind of how I think whenever I'm going on a call is how am I going to come across to the person we're helping? So that means talking to them and a whole lot of other things, but just so that they know when they need us that we'll be there and we'll do the right things.
Sure. So. And then Matt, we'll close it out with you.
Yeah, I got to piggyback off of Andy. Prevention is a big thing for us. I just want to, the impact we have on the community. Yeah, we're here to serve you guys. That's the biggest thing. And that's, everyone's on this department to give back to our community, and we're here for them.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, I appreciate the three of you joining today. I know it's been an eventful day for all three of you, and you got training still tonight, so hopefully this wasn't too taxing any. But Matt Cernohous, Andy Rineck, and Josh Woll of the River Falls Fire Department, thank you guys so much for not only being on the podcast, but for the work you do for River Falls and for the community.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us. It was awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And thank you to everybody for listening to this episode of the Kinni Cast. If you don't already subscribe, you can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or at rfcity.org. Until next time, have a great day, River Falls.